Dear friends, this is episode number 100 of CPC. We are dealing with section 9 and I have cited Premier Automobiles and Dhulabai's case. Now we will go to some other decisions. Please note AIR 1961 Supreme Court 1720 Sinha Ramanuja Jiyar SINHA Ramanuja Jiyar versus Ranga Ramanuja Jiyar. Ranga Ramanuja Jiyar. It is a decision which was cited when I was studying in the law college in 1975 to 78. Our lecturer who was taking CPC handed over the book to us and said, you have to read. Then at that time we do not have journals and all those things. What I did was that I took that decision and typed out the whole thing so that it was kept and it was read in full. It's a very important judgment. And the facts of the case very difficult to comprehend. There are lot of litigations. There is a temple complex in Tamil Nadu, Embarumanar temple. It is governed by Jeers, Jeers. They have got special rights, they have got the power of administration and all those things. So, a particular person is the Embarumanar Jeer. He goes to the summon, the crux of the matter is this. He goes to another temple which is called Atthinatalwar temple. And there, as the Jeer of Embarumanar temple, he claims certain privileges. What is that privilege? To receive the Tulasi Tirtham first in the order and certain other purely religious honors. That led to a litigation which went up to Supreme Court. You must see the nature of litigation. And the Supreme Court in the decision AIR 1961 Supreme Court 1720 held that a civil suit for getting such honors is not maintainable, because it is hit by section 9. Explanation 1. Notwithstanding that such right may depend entirely on the decision of question as to religious rites or ceremonies, that must have connection or relation with the right to property or to an office. Here the claim is nothing connected with the property or to any right to office. And several other ancillary questions were considered. Please read that judgment, and for the purpose of this episode, I am only reading a relevant portion, most relevant portion. Suit for declaration of religious honors and privileges simpliciter will not lie in a civil court. Suit to establish one's right to an office in a temple and to honors and privileges attached to the said office as its remuneration or perquisites is maintainable in a civil court. Suit to establish one's right to an office in a temple and to honors and privileges attached to the said office as its remuneration or perquisites is maintainable in a civil court. But simply religious honors, it is not maintainable. There cannot be an independent office of Tirthakar, for a Tirthakar has no obligatory duties to perform, nor can there be an office of Arulipad. The said word only connotes that the name of the Tirthakars are called out by the Archaka in certain order. Paragraph 13 and 14 I propose to refer to, and I will read certain portions. It is not necessary to refer to further citation, etc. For convenience of reference, we may summarize the law on the subject thus. Summarize the law as follows. Sorry. 1. A suit for a declaration of religious honors and privileges simpliciter will not lie in a civil court. 2. But a suit to establish one's right to an office in a temple and to honors and privileges attached to the said office as its remuneration or perquisites is maintainable in a civil court. 3. The essential condition for the existence of an office is that the holder of the alleged office shall be under a legal obligation to discharge the duties attached to the said office, and for the non-observance of which he may be visited with penalties. This is the litmus test. You are having certain privileges, certain honors. To assess whether it is connected with any office, what is your duty? And if you do not perform that duty, is it visited with any penalty or any other consequences? The essential condition for the existence of an office is that the holder of the alleged office shall be under a legal obligation to discharge the duties attached to the said office, and for the non-observance of which he may be visited with penalties. Number 4. So judged, there cannot be an independent office of Tirthakar, for a Tirthakar has no obligatory duties to perform, nor can there be an office of Arulipad. The said word only connotes that the names of these Tirthakars are called out by the Archaka in a certain order. This is with reference to the temple in question. Different temples, different rites, different ceremonies, different custom and all those things may be there. So it cannot be said that in 1961 it is said that Arulipad has no office and all those things. That cannot have any universal application. We have to see whether it applies. Even if Tirtham is given or other honors are shown in a particular order to a person holding an office, it does not necessarily follow that the said honors are part of the remuneration attached to the office. See the distinction drawn. Even if Tirtham is given or other honors are shown in a particular order to a person holding an office, it does not necessarily follow that the said honors are part of remuneration attached to the office. But it is a question of fact to be ascertained on the evidence whether the said honors are attached to the office as part of the perquisites, in the sense that they have become an integral part of the ritual to be performed by the recipient as the office holder, or are only shown to him as a mark of respect on the occasion of his visit to the temple. If it is connected with an office, certain honors and privileges are given, and that is part and parcel of his holding that office, and he has got certain duties to perform. This is integral part of that office, then it is a civil right. Whereas it is only a respect shown because he is holding such an office that has nothing to connect with the office, then it is not cognizable by the civil court. Having regard to the said principle, para 14, let us now look at the contentions raised in the case. The first submission of learned counsel for the appellant is that, in view of the said principle, the suit should have been dismissed in limine on the basis of the allegations in the plaint. In paragraph 4 of the plaint in so and so, it is stated, the plaintiff is present Embarumanar Jiyar, and as such the Aradhana Ikar and trustee of the said Embarumanar temple, having been appointed and nominated by his predecessor so and so Jiyar, who died in 1930. In paragraph 7, the claim is stated thus. in his capacity as the holder of office of Arathana Aikar and trustee of Embarumanar temple and emoluments attached to the said office. The Embarumanar Jiyar is by time immemorial usage and custom entitled to receive in the goshtis that are formed before all sannidhis in the Attinatharwal temple on all occasions on each day of all days of the year without exception. The first Tirtham and other honors described in Schedule 1 below and the perquisites described in Schedule below and the perquisites described in Schedule 2 below. And it is further stated in the plain, in his capacity as the holder of the office of Arathanaikar and trustee of Embarumanar temple, and as emoluments attached to the said office, as Jiyar, he is entitled to receive certain things, honors. These are known as special honors, while the honors described in Schedule 1 are known as ordinary honors. It is clear from the said allegations. I read these allegations to show the sample. These are the contentions in the plate. It is clear from the said allegations that the claim of the plaintiff to the ordinary and special honors in the Attinathalwar temple is based on his capacity as the office holder of Arathanaikar and trustee of Embarumanar temple, another temple. As office holder of Embarumanar temple, he is claiming the special privileges in Attinathalwar temple. See, even there he says that the Jiyar of Embarumanar temple, I am entitled to special privileges in Attinathalwar temple, and it is attached to his office as Jiyar. This is the contention. It is clear from the said allegation that the claim of the plaintiff to the ordinary and special honors in the Attinathalwar temple is based upon his capacity as office holder of Arathanaikar and trustee of Embarumanar temple. There is no allegation that he is an office holder in Attinathalwar temple. In the written statement filed by the defendants, the claim of the plaintiff to the said honor is denied. In the result, we hold, agreeing with the district judge, that the suits were not maintainable in the civil court. The appeals are therefore allowed with cause throughout. See the types of litigation persons are indulging in. Certain honors, he called it that honor shown in another temple as connected with the office which he held in yet another temple. As the office holder in A temple, he claims the honors which were shown in B temple as his right. Is it connected with any office? Supreme Court said no. Another case, 2020, Volume 2, SCC 1. This is the Shabarimala case, review petition. So, review petition is pending. I am just giving you the citation and showing how the Supreme Court has primarily dealt with that review petition. It has not become final, and the appeals are to be heard and the original petitions are to be heard. Name of the case, Kantararu Rajivaru, Kantaru Rajivaru versus Indian Young Lawyers Association. Several points were discussed in paragraph 1 to 9. And in paragraph 1 to 9 it was held that the review petition should be kept pending till the decision by the larger bench. And there is a dissenting judgment by Justice Rohington Nariman, that is para 10 to 20. Para 1 to 9 and the judgment of the majority by Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi, and it was held that the RP review petition should be kept pending till the decision by the larger bench. Then I am referring to paragraph 6, 7, 8 and 9. in a legal framework where the courts do not have any epistolary jurisdiction and issues pertaining to epistolary jurisdiction and issues pertaining to religion, including religious practices, are decided in exercise of jurisdiction under 9 of the Civil Procedure Code or Article 26/32 of the Constitution. The court should tread cautiously. This is a time-honored principle and practice. Then para 7. In this context, the decision of the 7 judges bench of this court in Commissioner Hindu Religious Endowments Madras versus Sri Lakshmindra Tirtha Swamiyar of Shirur Mutt case, that is 1954 SCR 1005, 1954 SCR 1005, holding that what are essential religious practices of a particular religious denomination should be left to be determined by the denomination itself, and the subsequent view of 5 judges bench in Dargah Committee Ajmer versus Sayyid Hussain Ali and others, 1962 1 SCR 383, carving out a role for the court in this regard to exclude what the courts determine to be secular practices or superstitious beliefs, seem to be an apparent conflict requiring consideration by a larger bench. That is how, as held in paragraph 7, it has been referred to a larger bench. There is a conflict between a 7 judges bench's decision in Shirur Mutt case and a 5 judge bench decision in Ajmer Dargah case, and therefore it is referred to a larger bench. Paragraph 8. While deciding the questions delineated above, a larger bench may also consider it appropriate to decide all issues, including the question as to whether the Kerala Hindu Place of Public Worship Authorization of Entry Rules 1965 govern the temple in question at all, whether the aforesaid consideration will require grant of a fresh opportunity to all the interested parties may also have to be considered. The subject review petitions as well as the writ petitions may accordingly remain pending until determination of the questions indicated above. So I cited this only to make you aware that this is going on in the Supreme Court, and this is the decision where this is voiced, that there is an apparent conflict between Shirur Mutt case and Ajmer Dargah case, 7 judges and 5 judges, and therefore it is referred to a larger bench. Not any finality attached to this decision, it is not. AER 2019 Supreme Court, AER 2019 Supreme Court 3113. Parallel citation 2019 7 SCC 76. Sopan Rao and another versus Said Mahmood and others. Dispute as to whether properties belong to Dargah, and remedy claimed was to manage the properties instead of personal rights. Issue was not whether the suit properties are Waqf properties. It was held that the civil court will have jurisdiction. I will read paragraph 12. It was also urged that the civil court had no jurisdiction to decide the suit. No such objection was, etc., etc. The issue in this case was whether the properties were the properties of the Dargah or not, and the issue was not whether the properties are Waqf properties or not. If it was dispute was regarding Waqf, then the Waqf Act will apply. The civil court's jurisdiction will be ousted. There, the issue in this case was whether the properties were properties of the Dargah or not, and the issue was not whether the properties are Waqf properties or not. The High Court rightly held that the plaintiffs were not claiming any personal right in the land, but only claiming rights of management over the property of the dargah. We agree with the finding of the High Court that the civil court had jurisdiction to decide the suit. Then next, AIR 1995 Supreme Court 2001. 1995 Supreme Court 2001. Parallel citation 1995 Supplemental 4 SCC 286. Most Reverend PMA Metropolitan, Most Reverend PMA Metropolitan versus Moran Mar Marthoma, Moran Mar Marthoma. This is a case, a dispute which is century old. It is in Kerala. Marthomites, Christians. There are two groups, generally called Catholicos faction and what is that? I forgot. Catholicos group and Metropolitan group. Catholicos say that the 1934 constitution of the church is binding on all churches, and the properties and churches are to be administered and managed accordingly. And they also put forward a contention regarding the supremacy of Antioch. That is one of the disputes. The Patriarch of Antioch. According to this group, 1934 constitution group, they say that the Antioch, Patriarch of Antioch has no supremacy. Whereas the other group, Patriarch group, they say that Antioch, Patriarch has powers to control the churches. These are all the essential disputes. The disputes arose a century ago. There are several cases, several, and this was decided by the trial court for months together hearing. And in the High Court also months together. Supreme Court also days together, more than a month. And it was decided, still the disputes were not resolved, were not, according to the parties, not resolved. And they started agitation one way or other. And then there are several other decisions of the Supreme Court connected with that, and then there are several writ petitions, police protection cases, several mandamus direction, this direction, that direction, and all those things that will go up to Supreme Court. Supreme Court and came heavily down upon some group and held that the decision of the Supreme Court must be followed. And now that has become a hot issue in Kerala, religious as well as political. And therefore it becomes, and in that case the Honorable Prime Minister has also intervened, and they called both parties and had a discussion. They were heard, no final decision is taken. So the gravity of the situation is such that every church, and they have got immense properties. Churches are big and old churches are there. Small churches are also there, very old churches are there. Tradition, custom, various religious rites and ceremonies, difference, and all those things. These are all the questions connected with each church. And there is a law and order situation in several churches. RDOs, the revenue divisional officer, that is the subdivisional magistrate, will take possession, the police will take possession, and never-ending disputes. We will refer to, we are concerned with only jurisdiction of the civil court. I just as a prelude as to what is a dispute. So if you read 1995 Supreme Court 2001 and see, once you decide to read and understand the whole thing, you will not be able to do it. So complicated an issue. So you are not concerned with it, you need not read it. You read only with section 9, section 11 CPC. 2 points are there, very good points are there. Section 9 and section 11. Those discussions alone you attempt to read, the other attempt will become very difficult task. So we will meet in the next episode. Thank you.